Horrible Harry and the Holidaze by Suzy Kline. The D word. My name is Doug and I'm in 3rd grade. I write about what happens in room 3B, but this holiday story was the hardest one to write. Something was the matter with my best friend Harry. I can only come up with one way to describe him that month. Harry was in a daze. He didn't flash his white teeth. He didn't call Sid a squid. He wasn't interested in things that were slimy, hairy, or creepy. And he didn't seem to be in love with Song Lee anymore. Harry just wasn't his horrible self. It all started one morning in early December. Boys and girls, Miss Mackle said. Today is an exciting day. We have a new student in our room and a new class pet. Everyone looked at the new boy, then at the large pet cage. A white towel was draped over it. This is Yusuf Haddad. Tell us about yourself, Yusuf, the teacher said. Yusuf wasn't shy. He spoke right up. Call me Zuzu. That's a nickname for Joseph in Lebanese. Lebanon is a country on the Mediterranean Sea. Miss Mackle pulled down the wall map and pointed to his homeland. Zuzu smiled as he took the white towel off the cage. And this is Juju. He's a tortoiseshell guinea pig. Everyone oohed and awed. Song Lee clapped her hands. Juju looked like one giant auburn, black, and white hairball. What does Juju mean in Lebanese? Miss Mackle asked. George, Zuzu answered. I'm sure. Glad you said I could keep him in class, Miss Mackle. I love animals. I know how to take good care of them. Well, we're happy to have Juju in room 3B. He's a holiday gift to all of us. I immediately looked over at Harry and put 2 thumbs up. But Harry wasn't even looking at Juju. He was scribbling a bunch of empty circles. What was going on, I thought. Harry loves hairy things. Who would like to help Zuzu look after Juju this week? The teacher asked. Song Lee raised her hand first. Although she's shy, she loves animals. Last year she brought 3 to her class, Chungju, a salamander, Bong, a water frog, and Yi, a hamster. The rest of us waved our hands madly in the air, too. Except for Harry. He just looked mad. For a while, I was the only person who noticed Harry was in a daze. Song Lee was too busy helping Zuzu. I can fill the water bottle, she said. I can get the wet and dry food out, Zuzu replied. I brought carrots and potato peelings in baggies, but I keep the cereal in this can. It has a nice tight lid. When I stopped by Harry's desk, he was still doodling. His scribbled circles looked like the Grand Canyon. What's the matter with you? I asked. You look like a scowling statue. Harry didn't answer, but he did move. He shrugged his shoulders once. After lunch things got even busier. Miss Mackle wrote the word holidays on the blackboard and underlined the S ending. We are so lucky this year, she exclaimed. Remember when I sent a letter to your parents asking about the winter holidays you celebrate at home? Well, I found out that room 3B families celebrate 5. 5? Sydney gasped. I thought there was just one holiday. Christ Moss. Mary blew her bangs up in the air. She does that when she gets angry. Haven't you ever heard of Hanukkah, Sid? Or Kwanzaa? Ida added. Or 3 Kings Day? Dexter replied. Mother is going to help me share our Korean New Year's, Song Lee said softly. Miss Mackle beamed. Thanks to our parent volunteers, everyone in our class will get to know 5 winter holy days this year. My dad's coming this afternoon, Dexter blurted out. Any minute now. Everyone cheered as Miss Mackle pushed a long table in front of the room. Then we waited politely. As soon as we heard footsteps coming down the hall, we all looked over at the doorway. Even Harry. I was hopeful he might snap out of his daze. 2 surprises for Three Kings Day. The tall man who entered our room was carrying a huge cake and had a bag over his shoulders. I noticed he was wearing a t-shirt that had a guitar on it. Now I know why Dexter is such an Elvis fan. Boys and girls, the teacher said, this is Mr. Sanchez, Dexter's father. He's going to tell us about a holiday his family celebrates. Three Kings Day. Dexter shouted out. That's right, his father replied, setting his things down on the long table. Three Kings Day is celebrated all over Latin America, Spain, and other parts of Europe. Dex, why don't you tell the class about the things I brought? We all watched Mr. Sanchez empty the contents of his bag, 1 shoe, 6 walnuts, a piece of coal, a bucket, and a framed picture. Dexter picked up the framed picture first. Actually, my family celebrates both Christmas and Three Kings Day. This is a picture of the 3 wise men who visited the stable when Jesus was born. On January 6th, the 12th day after Christmas, we believe they visit our house and bring gifts like Santa Claus does. Only they don't leave them in Christmas stockings by the fireplace. They leave them in shoes. Some people leave their shoes by their bed. We leave them by the door. Man, Sydney said. You get presents twice? Dexter beamed. Yeah. What if the present is Tinker Toys? Sid asked. How would it fit in a shoe? It happens a lot, Dexter answered. Last year the wise men left me an Elvis video, Fun in Acapulco, by the door. It was too big for my shoe. What about the walnuts? Sid asked. Oh, we leave nuts in a bucket of water for the wise men's camels, Dexter explained. Do you leave them coal, too? Mary asked. No, Dexter groaned. That's what you get in your shoe if you've been bad all year. Mary laughed. That's like Christ moss. I bet Harry finds coal in his stocking. When Harry didn't raise his fist or say anything, Zuzu did. Mary, that's a mean thing to say. Yeah, Sid said with a big grin. He liked it when Mary got zapped. It didn't happen very often. Slowly she sank down in her seat. Room 3B had a new judge. Zuzu. Miss Mackle's next announcement made things fun again. Please take off one of your shoes and put it next to the doorway. Neat-o, Sid said. We get to go barefoot. Not barefoot, the teacher objected. Leave your socks on. As soon as all the shoes were near the door, Mary held her nose. It smells in here. It didn't bother Song Lee. She giggled. She doesn't mind slimy or smelly things. That's one reason why Harry likes her. Close your eyes, the teacher said. The 3 wise men are coming. But Miss Mackle, it's not January 6th, Zuzu objected. Good listening, the teacher replied. I mean, let's pretend that it's January 6th. Everyone put their heads down on their desk and closed their eyes except I wanted to see if Harry was peeking. He wasn't. Harry wasn't being horrible at all. A few minutes later, Miss Mackle called, "Come and see the surprise in your shoe." Sydney made a beeline for his sneaker. Mary was behind him holding her nose with 2 fingers. "Crayons," she exclaimed in a nasal voice. "These are flashy ones," I said. Harry was the last one to walk over and empty his shoe. "Did you see what kind they are, Harry?" Miss Mackle asked. "They're fluorescent." "Yeah," Harry replied. "But I like my old crayon stubs better." Miss Mackle lowered her voice. "Are you okay, Harry?" she asked. "You seem a little out of sorts." Before Harry could answer, Sydney blurted out, "Hey, can we leave our shoes off all day?" "No," the teacher replied firmly. Sid made a face as he slipped on his shoe. He didn't bother tying the long shoelaces. "Thank goodness!" Mary gasped, unplugging her nose. "I can breathe again." "Thank you for my crayons," Songli said softly. "Thank you, wise men," Zuzu pretended. "Thank you," we all chimed in. "Okay, boys and girls," Mr. Sanchez said. "Now it's time for the second surprise, the crown cake." Everyone watched Dexter's father lift the lid off the cake carrier. "Look what's on top of the snowy icing," Mary said. "Cherries and pineapples. They look like shimmering jewels. Look at the hole in the middle of the cake," I said. "It looks like a crown. I bet it would fit my head perfectly." Sid chuckled. "I think I'll try it on." "Sydney, you don't wear cake," Zuzu corrected. "You eat it." "Lighten up, Zoo." "I was just kidding," Sid replied. Dexter tapped his dad on the shoulder. "Can I tell them now?" "Can I?" "Yes," Mr. Sanchez said. "There is something really special about the crown cake we eat on Three Kings Day. It has one surprise baked inside. Whoever finds it will have a lucky year." Many of us crossed our fingers. "But Harry?" I couldn't believe it. He made prayer hands. He really wanted that surprise. After everyone took a bite of the delicious creamy cake, we looked around to see who had it. "I got it! I got it!" Sydney screamed. As he jumped out of his seat, tripped on his long shoelace, and tumbled to the floor. "Are you okay, Sid?" Miss Mackle asked. "Of course I am," Sid replied as he stood tall holding the little surprise. "I'm gonna have a lucky year. I've got this." We all stared at the tiny clay doll. "You lucky dog," Dexter cried out. Harry made a fist, thumped it on his desk, and gritted his teeth. "If I had gotten that doll," he said, "it might have changed things." Miss Mackle and Mr. Sanchez looked at Harry, then at each other. I wasn't the only one who wanted to know what was going on with Harry. Heads up for Kwanzaa. At the end of that day, Miss Mackle called Harry up to her desk. Although I couldn't hear what they were saying, I noticed Harry's eyebrows. They kept sinking lower and lower as he was talking to the teacher. It made him look mad, then sad.